Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys get bad news on Micah Parsons' contract thanks to TJ Watt. There was a time when $30 million a year might have done it. There was definitely a time when $35 million a year might have done it. And as of, say, Monday. Okay, it was going to have to be $40 million a year to get it done. But Micah Parsons, who recently cautioned the Dallas Cowboys that waiting to sign him to a record-breaking contract extension would accomplish nothing except that the price would be going up, is proving to be correct. And now, it's TJ Watt's fault. Well, and the Cowboys' Jerry Jones' fault too. And Micah's agent David Mulligata's fault too. Because while the people who are assigned to complete Parsons' deal, which we have for months projected to come in at $40 million per year, maybe for 5 years at a total of $200 million. What would like a word? Watt and the Pittsburgh Steelers are, of course, at odds over which direction their contract negotiations should go. Their deals have been a bit bitter, Parsons has not. But otherwise, there are parallels. Watt, the superstar edge rusher and former NFL Defensive Player of the Year, is entering the final season of his deal in 2025 and has been holding out as he is seeking an extension from the team. Micah has not held out but is also eligible for a new deal. And it's what Watt's reported demand is that represents bad news for the boys. During an appearance on The Rich Eisen Show, on Tuesday, Steelers insider Jerry Dulac said that Watt wants to become the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Currently, Ja'Marr Chase of the Cincinnati Bengals is the highest-paid non-quarterback in football at about $40 million per year. And of course, Cleveland Browns edge Myles Garrett is in that same range, and the guy who recently set the bar for defensive players. This means Watt is seeking a deal worth over $40 million annually. And he's 31. Micah is 26. What do you think this means for him? The idea of being the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history was, at one time, according to Micah himself, not a priority. But now, Garrett got his. Max Crosby in Las Vegas got his. Trey Hendrickson in Cincy wants him. And Watt just made a big noise. The money is changing. The times are changing. And Watt just created a reason for Micah's mindset to be changing, too. Cowboys facing another expensive All-Pro contract drama. The Cowboys have made a habit in recent years of waiting until the breaking point to bring back key star players, whether it is Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb last season or, this year, Micah Parsons. While Parsons has gotten the bulk of the attention, for good reason, the Cowboys do have another big-time contract brewing that should be of concern, that of cornerback Darren Bland, the NFL record holder for interceptions returned for a touchdown in a season, with 5. But Bland suffered a stress fracture in his foot in 2024 and was limited to 7 games, during which he did not pick off a pass. He also allowed a quarterback rating on passes thrown in his direction of 105.7, up sharply from the 60.8 rating he posted the previous season. That put some pressure on Bland to repeat his earlier success here in 2025. But there's good reason to think he will, and that the Cowboys will need to again open the checkbook and pay a top-of-the-market rate. Darren Bland and L'Jarius Sneed's range. That's the speculation at Blogging the Boys, where Bland's abilities were compared to those of former Chiefs star L'Jarius Sneed, and a suggestion that he could be in line for a similar contract to that of Sneed. The site's Rohan Chakravarti writes, looking at other contracts, L'Jarius Sneed's 4-year, $76.4 million deal immediately comes to mind as a solid baseline. Sneed had 3.5 years as a full-time starter and was one of the best in man coverage, but Bland counters that with the ball production, making it a fair comparison. His logic is sound, and Bland's contract, at that rate, would land him in the top 10 in NFL corner deal, on a per-year basis. The problem, though, is that the rates on cornerbacks are going up, with new contracts for Derek Stingley Jr., $30 million per year, and J.C. Horn, $25 million per year, resetting the market. Bland will likely want to be closer to that grouping than to Snead. And with the Cowboys' propensity to let these processes drag out, the market will only keep pushing forward, with players like Sauce Gardner due a new deal and, perhaps, Devin Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez and others joining the mix. Cowboys need to trade for once promising running back before training camp. Last season, the Dallas Cowboys had one of the worst rushing attacks in the NFL. Dallas finished the year ranked 27th in rushing yards with 1,705 yards and tied for 30th in yards per carry with 4. Their poor ground game resulted in them having to rely on the pass, which is an issue when a backup quarterback is forced to play half of the season. That said, new head coach Brian Schottenheimer has put an emphasis on the ground game since being hired. When speaking at the NFL Scouting Combine in February, Schottenheimer said, "No, at the end of the day, you have to be able to run the football. We've made a commitment that we want to be great on both sides of the line of scrimmage." The Cowboys then backed this claim up by signing running backs Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams in free agency. While those are good additions, Dallas should consider trading for Houston Texans running back Dameon Pierce before training camp. Some Cowboys fans may question if this move even makes sense for the Cowboys. With Sanders reportedly looking explosive in OTAs and minicamp, and Williams filling that bruiser role, Pierce wouldn't fit anywhere in the room. However, any reports on running backs during OTAs and minicamp must be taken with a grain of salt since they aren't wearing pads. It's possible that Sanders will continue to look good when training camp starts on July 22nd. But there's also a real chance that when the pads come on, he looks like he did in Carolina. That is why the Cowboys should at least call about Pierce before training camp. Throughout 3 NFL seasons, Pierce has rushed for 1,648 yards on 405 carries, scored 8 touchdowns and has 45 broken tackles. His best season came as a rookie when he rushed for 939 yards on 220 carries while scoring 4 touchdowns and breaking 27 tackles. Though Pierce has failed to reach those heights again, he's had fewer opportunities in the Texans' backfield after his rookie year. Coming to Dallas would allow him a fresh start and a chance to be the lead rusher again. Dallas acquiring Pierce would benefit both sides since Houston's running back depth chart is so deep and the Cowboys could potentially use another back. Thus, Jerry and Stephen Jones should definitely make this call.